Good evening and welcome to Varsity Sports Live. Tom Neiman along with Jason and Dara as we hit the ground running here in 2019. Team started playing last week in North and South Dakota, and we get everybody going on this Friday night. It's time for all the guessing to be done with, yeah. Jandy, all the predictions, all that stuff. Now we get to find out.
Yeah. You start going to school and you learn a little bit more each week about these teams. I think we learned a lot, though, right here in this first week of the season. There were some blowouts that we didn't think would be blowouts. There were some upsets that we didn't think would be upsets. And we had a good game on our air as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise with West Fargo Sheyenne taking down Bismarck in our high school game of the night in North Dakota. And a little bit of a surprise at Howard Wood Field in South Dakota. We'll get to that eventually. There's that final between West Fargo Sheyenne. And again, those rankings to the left of the team name there, those were the preseason rankings in 3A as they get going in North Dakota as West Fargo Sheyenne takes down Bismarck. And we'll take a look at the highlights of that one coming up in a bit. Bismarck Century came out as the number one, the unanimous number one. Virtually in North Dakota in the big schools, and they get by Fargo Davies tonight 38-15 to get their seasons started. Mandan and West Fargo in a low-scoring one. Mandan scores last, and they get out to a 12-8 win to get out to a 1-0 start to their season. Fargo South 29-0 over Dickinson tonight.
They've got some playmakers on that team. Bless Flomo had a huge night for them. I can't wait to see what they do against some of the upper echelon teams.
Grand Forks, Red River, and Minot, I believe, has gone final now. Minot takes that one 14-12 in the opener in Minot. Jamestown, that game was in the third quarter, leading Fargo North 7-0, and that is now a final as Jamestown off to a 1-0 start in North Dakota. Bismarck Legacy all over Grand Forks Central tonight, 43-0. So the Sabres, one of those newer teams in North Dakota, making a statement tonight. Williston, that's a 3A, 2A matchup against Watford, and Williston all over them tonight as the Coyotes win 41-0. 2A game, Turtle Mountain and Devil's Lake. Devil's Lake was down 16-6 in the third quarter of this one, and Devil's Lake comes back to win it 24-16. 2A game, Beulah over Valley City, the Highliners. That is a final now, 22-8 as Beulah takes down Valley City. Fargo Shanley and St. Mary's. Fargo Shanley moved up to the big school class in North Dakota this year, and this has always been a great matchup in 2A, but now it's Shanley in 3A. St. Mary's is still in 2A, and they play a 23-21 final tonight, and we'll take a look at some highlights from that one. Coming up, Hillsboro-Central Valley is the other big team in Class AA in North Dakota, and they get a 47-0 win up tonight over Grafton. It was Kindred and Northern Cass. Kindred 24-8 is the winner there. Lisbon takes down Central Cass, the Squirrels, 42-12 tonight.
Yeah, big night for Jordan Sowers. 250 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing. Big night.
Langdon, Edmore, Munich. We're going to take a look at some highlights from this one as they beat Hatton Northwood 40-8. Bishop Ryan all over Carrington tonight, 42-0. It was Harvey Wells County and Velva. No report on that one yet. Thompson moved up to Class A this year from 9-man, and the Tommies start out with a win 34-0. We'll take a look at some highlights from that one as well, Jason, and a couple other finals in North Dakota. Nothing there on North Star and New Rockford Cheyenne yet, but Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion is going to be very good at 9-man in North Dakota.
Yeah,
they take down Richland tonight.
They took out the ranked team, so we saw a lot of this teams that were ranked kind of based off of last year's stuff, and then we see some teams like the Lobos take command of a team that wasn't even ranked.
All right, South Dakota finals tonight. And Jandy, this is the game. You're going to have a report on this one from Howard Wood Field. Roosevelt over Brandon Valley 28-13.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into this. Not as big of a shock as some people think. I think those are 1A in Class AAA. So we'll get into the defense and how the defense did so well for the Rough Riders.
All right, in Rapid City, Stevens and O'Gorman were just getting on the field. I don't even think they got that game started. They're in a weather delay, a lightning delay right now, so they're going to be very late out in Rapid City between the Knights and the Raiders. Sioux Falls, Washington is at Aberdeen tonight, and just kind of quietly rolling it up on Aberdeen Central. Max Thompson is the new quarterback this year for Sioux Falls, Washington. A couple of touchdown passes so far.
Started out pretty close, but you're right. Warriors found their groove.
Sioux Falls, Lincoln might be surprisingly good this year, Jandy.
Yeah, Tommy Thompson threw for 150-some yards, and they were able to put the backups in late in this game because things got a little ugly for Watertown with that inexperienced defense.
All right, big school opener there for those teams. Harrisburg moves up to 3A this year in South Dakota, and they go out to Rapid City Central. Had a big lead there. It was 26-6 at one point. The Cobblers came back, but Harrisburg hangs on for its first win.
Yeah, Jack Tigan quarterbacking for Harrisburg. They were kind of going between Jacob Knuth and Tigan. Tigan got that job, got out to a good start. We've got highlights coming up of that one a little bit later.
Sturgis and Pierre will play in Pierre on Saturday. Yankton at home tonight against Spearfish. Bucks all over the Spartans, 49-0.
Yeah, new quarterback in Cooper Corneman. The guy threw 10 for 10 in the first half. Perfect first half, had a huge night, and Yankton rolls in that one. Another Double-A rolling as the Brookings took care of business at home against Huron.
Made it ugly.
Good.
Kobe Bartles had 3 interceptions in that game. One of them was a pick 6 for Brookings, and they just rolled it up on Huron 40-0 tonight at Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings. Douglas and Mitchell, another 2A game. They will play on Saturday in Mitchell as well. In Class A, it was T-Area coming from behind. They scored a touchdown with 18 seconds left to beat Canton tonight, 21-14.
We'll see some highlights of that one, and we'll take a closer look at a play that really made that game pivotal.
Madison and Dakota Valley played a great one as well. Trey Smith, a sophomore running back for Madison, 4 touchdowns tonight in their win.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. We always get these surprises, these sophomores and these guys who may be juniors getting their first opportunity. He made the most of it. We'll check out those highlights in a bit.
Del Rapids over Lennox. Del Rapids scored late to win that one, 7-6 tonight in their opener. Bridgewater Emory Ethan in 11B. Brady Hawkins scored on a kick return. He threw a touchdown, ran for a couple of touchdowns, and Bridgewater Emory Ethan all over Elk Point Jefferson tonight, 48-7. Winner in St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More is in 11B this year. They were in 11A last year, and Winner walloped them tonight down in Winner.
Yeah, when Dan Akers says, I kind of like my team, you better take him at his word. He likes this team, and Winner jumped all over St. Thomas More in the first half. We got a couple quick highlights of that one coming up a little later.
Is Bonham going to be any good this year, 9-man?
They were close. They were close in that first half. They do the opposite of whatever I say. So I thought they were going to be really good this year, and they made it close.
Yeah, this game was 16-12 or 20-12. I think Bonham pulled away late to beat the Razorbacks tonight from Menno Marion, 34-12. Viborg Hurley, their first game of the year, their first win of the year, 50-0 tonight over the Badgers from Arlington Lake Preston. Dual gets its first win with a win over Hamlin tonight, 28-13. Sully Buttes, Nick Whitler, huge game tonight for Sully Buttes. We'll take a peek at this one as they take down Wall 64-12.
They proved something with that big win on the road.
Big upset here as Tadaka-Aka. Is it an upset or not? Cologne came out number 1.
I didn't agree with the people who voted Cologne number 1. I didn't even have them in my top 5. But I'm not, I make plenty of mistakes, let's put it that way. But this is not one I didn't think was going to happen.
Tripp, Delmont Armor, Andy Central, Dakota Christian, Thunderhawks take them down tonight, and Del Rapids St. Mary gets to 2-0 now.
And highlights on VSL for the first time from St. Mary. I'm looking forward to that.
Castlewood tonight. All right, our live game tonight was West Fargo Sheyenne in Bismarck. Bismarck, the defending state champions in the big class in North Dakota, and West Fargo Cheyenne's another one of those teams that hasn't been around all that long, but has gotten good in a hurry.
Yeah, you're right. They've got a lot of talent there. In fact, more athletes than a lot of teams around the state. And Bismarck, they had that one really good class last year. They had a lot to replace, and we'll see how they start out the season.
All right, that was our live game tonight here on Midco Sports Network. West Fargo Sheyenne and those clean whites, the Broncos, and Bismarck High, the Demons at home. But this is Barika Pinu with the touchdown early on for Cheyenne, put them ahead 6-0.
They were worried about not having Nathan Goldaddy, but they found some players to make plays.
Jared Hager here makes it 7-6. Bismarck, yeah, Goldaddy is going to be out for the entire football season. He's going to have some surgery and get ready for basketball. But Demons with a little defense here. But this was the monster play of the night. This is Alex Erlov, and this is 102 yards, nothing but green in front of him. Little cutback at the 45, and he goes 100 plus to put Cheyenne in the lead 14-7.
When you get an escort like that all the way into the end zone, that's some serious blocking. There's 5 guys out there leading the way.
Third quarter, that is Tyler Terhart, great wide receiver for Cheyenne. Made it 21-7, and then they pound in another one, and Cheyenne gets ahead here 28-17. 28-7. Kate Rolfs came back with a touchdown for Bismarck to make it 28-14 right there, but Cheyenne would tack on another one late. And 35-14 is the final tonight, Jandy.
Yeah, I think they put the rest of the state on notice. West Fargo Sheyenne has got some players, and this was a close game in the rankings, 2-3. And Cheyenne not only did it, but they did it on the road. Huge win to start the season.
Yeah, again, this is preseason. Bismarck Century came out number 1, Bismarck number 2, West Fargo Sheyenne number 3. Cheyenne gets it done tonight. Jody Norstead had the call on the live game, and he's got the wrap here from Bismarck.
Well, joined now by two of the heroes from this Mustangs victory, 35-14. Tyler Terhark, senior wide receiver, had the touchdown in this game, and also Barika Penu, who had a rushing touchdown to lead this game off. And Barika, I'll start with you. To set the tone, get that first touchdown, and then just to grind things out, how important was this victory for you guys to lead off the season?
It's tremendous knowing that this can keep on going forward. You know that this game is it. We knew who Bismarck is. We know what Bismarck is all about. We know who they are. So we know that if we start off punching them in the mouth, we will have a good game for the rest of the game.
Well, congratulations to you on a nice game as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And Tyler Terhark, Tyler, you came into this game, you had a new quarterback, Grant Warkentine. You knew that he would probably like a security blanket. You offered that to him as a catching all those balls out there.
Yeah, he did a great job. You know, just being a young sophomore, we've been grinding this summer. He's been being a great leader for our team. He's getting us going at routes, and out here he can throw some dimes, that's for sure.
You guys are going against the defending state champs. It wasn't like just a ho-hum opener. It was a Class 3A matchup, 2 versus 3 in the state, and you come out here with a big victory. That has to be a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, but you know, the win's a win, you know, but we have a lot of things to work on. Tomorrow morning we're going to go right to the film room and just critique our little mistakes there and just move on to the next week in our homecoming week.
All right, congratulations, boys. A 35-14 victory for the Cheyenne Mustangs. Back to you guys.
Yep, get comfortable. That was a good win. Great player there. I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the season unfolds, of course, because Bismarck usually gets better as the season goes along.
Yeah, they'll bounce back, but obviously a little bit down year for them. But Cheyenne, I'm looking forward to see what they do in the East.
All right. Let's move on to West Fargo tonight, Jason, and Mandan making the trip to West Fargo. And we had some defense here early. No scoring in the first quarter of this game, and we get a pick here from whom, Jason?
Yeah, the pick to start things off, Mandan took it, and there was a couple exchanges on turnovers early in this game, and they played fair here. So you give one to us, they get one right back. That's Carter Bernadette that comes up for one with West Fargo to return the favor.
All right, getting on the board here. This is Elijah Klein, big number 80 here for Mandan. Look at this catch.
Oh, look forward to that, Fighting Hawk fans. This guy is a phenomenal athlete in multiple sports. They're happy he chose football.
Jace Lohman, the touchdown pass there. Klein with the catch, made it 6-0. And West Fargo, though, marches the field right before halftime, and they will score with 5 seconds left in the half right here. Dustin Mertz with a touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. So West Fargo's got the lead 8-6 at halftime.
Here's that interception bug once again. He looks over the middle. Over the middle is the toughest pass to make in high school football because there's guys dropping in zones that you don't see. And that time, a mistake capitalized by the Braves puts them in great field position.
Chase Barnard with the interception there for Mandan, and then Dane Carlson will take it in for the touchdown, and that would be it. 12-8. Mandan gets out to the 1-0 start with a win over West Fargo.
That's a good win for them. West Fargo, another team that's kind of rebuilding, and Mandan's hoping that they've been kind of improving a little bit all over the last 3 or 4 years. They're hoping that this year they can compete deep into the playoffs.
All right, let's go out to Western North Dakota. Dickinson at home tonight, taking on the number 5 team. That is Fargo South. And 3rd and 12 here. Jaden Wright goes down to the 38-yard line. That drive would end in an interception, however. But after a turnover, South gets on the board. Sibumana Enoch airs it out. Bless Flomo. That's a good connection down the sideline. 52 yards on the connection there between Enoch and Flomo to get Fargo South, and they would roll from there. Start of the second quarter here. Jamal Spivey is in for another score for the Bruins from Fargo South. They turned a couple of turnovers into points. And then Carlos Leas Valencia on the fullback dive there, 10 yards to Patert, and 29-0.
That's good
Fargo
news
South
for them. Last year, Enoch played running back. This year, he moves to quarterback and is able to engineer a few drives down the field. That's good news for Fargo South as they try to continue to creep up the rankings. A lot of playmakers on this Bruins team. 2
touchdown grabs there for Bless Flomo tonight for Fargo South. Let's go to Grafton, and this is a Class A Grafton at home tonight, taking on 2A Hillsboro-Central Valley. And the Burros have been really good, 23-1 in the last 2 years. They are in the blue and white here.
Gavin Wright, big night for him.
And that is Gavin Wright. And Hillsboro-Central Valley already rolling here, 33-0. And the defense good as well. Senior Joey Camrud off the edge with a sack there, big 54 going to work. And then the offense would take it from there. Jason, just before the half here, Sam Preston on the quarterback sneak for Hillsboro-Central Valley.
It's good to have so many good different weapons on that team. That team obviously made huge strides last year to get where they are. And this year, the second best team in AA. And they really feel like they are knocking on the door of St. Mary's and maybe can knock that door down, and they really put out a message tonight that they're off to a good start.
Saw the one grab by Gavin Wright. He had 3 touchdown catches tonight, and the Burros off to a 1-0 start to their season. Class A matchup tonight in North Dakota. You got Hatton Northfield. Northwood at home taking on Langdon Edmore Munich. And these guys are the defending champions in the class. 12-0 last year. Preseason number 1. They've already won their first game of the year, Langdon area. And Hatton Northwood onside kick. They get it there early in the drive here. Avery Thorsgaard. And then, what do we got here?
Little dump off.
Simon Romfo.
Romfo, yeah, one of the best.
Grant Romfo, 16 yards, and it's 7-0. Langdon Edmore Munich off to the start here. And their fans, they're on a beautiful night, taking it in. Thorsgaard dropping back. Parker Vani gets it tipped into the hands of Romfo for another quick interception.
How about that? Grant Romfo was a huge night. Catching touchdowns, catching interceptions, and then they turned it loose. A nice run there for Romfo. Gets them up 14-0.
30 yards on that carry. Still rolling. Last play of the first quarter here, Simon Romfo. Is Jackson Delvo with a great over-the-shoulder grab, falling into the end zone. That is a touchdown for Delvo, 20-0. And then tacking on a little more, Romfo again on the quarterback draw up the middle. Couple of jukes, gets to the sideline, 76 yards, 33-0 at halftime, and Langdon Edmore Munich rolls over Hatton Northwood tonight, 40-8.
When you have a quarterback like Simon Romfo, and then you got the supporting cast, they're going to put a hurting on a lot of teams in Class A this year.
All right, what else we got tonight here, Jandy? Park River area, the Aggies at home tonight. Taking on Thompson again. Thompson, their first year in Class A this year. They are the defending 9-man champions. Several of those 9-man teams have had to move up this year, but this is the first game of the year for the Tommies. And adjusting to 11-man just fine. They get on the board there with a Sam Roller touchdown to go up 6-0. And then Roller there for the recovery on that fumble. And some more Roller coming at you again, the junior running back. Nifty little run there, sideways again, making everybody miss. 56 yards this time for Sam Roller.
Love that about high school football. You get a guy who can just make moves like that. You're not going to find him in the open field.
And Thompson just fine in 11-man. So far, anyway, they get their first win, 34-0 tonight.
Little revenge from last spring's baseball state title game. The Aggies, on the Aggies, and they get their first win of the season, 34-0. Nice win.
All right, Janie, we got one more to look at here and take this one away. You got Richland at home tonight. The Colts, their first game of the year, taking on Lemoore Litchville Marion, and they're already 1-0 on the season.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Richland and the Colts have a good history of playing football, but a nice start that time. Garrett Hebel gets some style points, and then Corbin Potts puts the Lobos up 6-0, and you know they're serious at this point. And then Chris Hyde, look at that.
Block it, pick it up.
Yeah, that's a big block. It turned into great field position for the Lobos, and you get a little momentum going for you. It really turns the tables. Lobos take it to the ground. Hebel, 3-yard touchdown, makes it 12-0 early in the second. And then on the very next drive, another momentum play. The defense triggering the offense. That's Cole Myers, and they recover. And the Colts, they really do. They seem kind of stunned. They're a little bit tight on the bench, and then they see another big run coming down their throat. Brett Wendell this time, 6-yard touchdown. 18-0 lead before you even know it. This is still middle of the second quarter, and things started to get out of hand a little bit. Another big scamper, 47-yard touchdown, and Coach Nathan Myers, he is thrilled with the way the Lobos are playing in this game. And, he can't be happy. That's the coach for Richland. Can't be happy with that one. And then another nice catch over the middle. Lamore Litchfield Marion continues to pour it on. Wendell comes up, and over a 24-0 lead at halftime, and then they cruised in the second half, had the possession, and kept the shutout intact against a ranked team. Big win for Lamore Litchfield Marion.
All right, that wraps up 9-man for the night. Let's go back to 2A now, and this is a matchup again. Fargo Sheyenne is in 3A this year, taking on Bismarck St. Mary's. This was the matchup last year in the 2A championship game. New stadium there in Bismarck for St. Mary's. What do we got for highlights?
Well, it's great, first of all, to have your own stadium, and then you see Cullen with the TD to get things started. It's always a great matchup. Shanley has a new quarterback this year. A little fumble right near the end zone by Carson Dean, and Connor Pites recovers, and that would be a huge momentum changer in the game. Shanley keeping the pressure on, however. Carson Dean comes up with the interception, and he's not going to go down easy. There he goes. And Carson Dean continues to put it on the defensive side and the offensive side. He also scores the touchdown. How about that? And Shanley pulling ahead in this one. It was close throughout, as every game I think I've ever covered between St. Mary's and Shanley has been. St. Mary finally got a touchdown right there. Cullen Curl with the TD run. In the end, they put another touchdown and tried to come back into this one. Looks like a catch right at the end for Shanley, and they found a way, despite this run at the end. They did give him the credit on the touchdown as he falls in, but it wouldn't be enough as Shanley held on for the victory, 23-21. So even though they move up a class, I think if they were in 2A, you'd have to, consider these two teams the top two. But I wonder if Shanley will get some votes for top 5 next week.
In 3A,
AAA.
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's St. Mary's falls in this game.
Shanley.
And we've got St. Mary's. Let's hear from Shanley after this win to get the season started.
They're a great team. They're a top runner in the AA class, so it's always good to be a top runner, and no matter what class. And the rivalry game especially just makes it much more meaningful, and it's just a fun win for the boys.
It's a great matchup. The state championship game last year was Shanley 28-21 over St. Mary's, and then 23-21 tonight. And again, with Shanley moving up a class, you got St. Mary's and maybe Hillsboro-Central Valley. Yeah. Those two in 2A in North Dakota.
I still think they might stay number one, even though they lost that game. They played Shanley so well. It's always a dogfight between those two teams.
All right, and I don't know if we've got much detail on it, but let's get to one more North Dakota highlight clip tonight. This is Fargo Davies at home tonight, taking on Bismarck Century. Bismarck Century, the preseason #1. And this game was pretty much all Century.
This is Cade Feeney, folks. Get to know him. I know you know him if you're from North Dakota. He does a little bit in football, does a little bit in baseball, a little bit in basketball. There he gets the TD run to start things off for Century, and this would kind of start the avalanche a little bit. Century getting Feeney back from injury, and he looked good running, he looked good throwing. There's Brock Jensen with the catch in the back of the end zone. How about that?
Touchdown.
They got their celebration they need to work on, but they got the touchdown. That's all that matters. Feeney again, rolling to his left, making the throw, and man, another nice catch, and that's Skylar Reading who comes up with the grab, and he waltzes into the end zone. Century just looks so, I mean, their line is humongous. We've seen a lot of big lines in high school. These guys average nearly 300 pounds up front for Century, and they pushed people around on both sides of the line. We saw a sack there, and then another touchdown run. That time, Case Garcia gets it done for Century. Davies trying to come back in this one. Jack Carlson picks up the catch, gets down inside the 30-yard line. But it was Century all night, make no mistake. Cade Garcia comes up with a huge night. Cade Feeney with a huge night, and really no problem for Bismarck Century on the road. Let's hear from Cade Feeney after the big win.
I think just our game plan was amazing right away, and I think our line really got it started, especially on defense too. We stopped them right away. We got the ball, and you could just tell our linemen really got us going right away. Yeah, Davies is a heck of a team, and I have no doubt in my mind that by the end of the year they'll be a lot better. They got a lot of work to do, and so do we. I mean, this preseason, a lot of teams are just getting stuff figured out, so no doubt in my mind they'll be a good team.
Yeah, you can almost look at the first 2 or 3 games as preseason games.
And especially in North Dakota, where the East plays the West, those first week or two, some coaches kind of count that as preseason because they really want to do well in their own region. So, not to take anything away from any of the teams that did well tonight, but I really think there's a feeling out process for the first couple weeks, especially in North Dakota.
Yeah, Century wins big tonight. Fargo South wins big. Bismarck Legacy beat Grand Forks Central big tonight. West Fargo Sheyenne with that win over Bismarck High. So those 4 teams off to good starts in the big schools in North Dakota. All right, South Dakota stuff when we come back. We will get around the state, including Brandon Valley and Roosevelt, when we return on Varsity Live.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Figure it out.
We will figure it out is what we're just talking about here on the opening night of Varsity Sports Live. Let's get to South Dakota's highlights tonight. And the big game of the night, Jandy, was one you were pumped about for the last 3.5 weeks or so. It was Brandon Valley taking on Sioux Falls Roosevelt. What was so big about this?
Well, it's the top 2 teams in the state. We've got Brandon Valley at #1, consensus #1 across the state, returning champions, have their quarterback, their 2 running backs back, 4 sophomores started on defense last year. You can tell why there was some buzz. But Roosevelt has some dynamite players, some great talent, a quarterback that is in his 3rd year starting. There's a lot of talent there, too, and they had a lot to say about what happened tonight.
Howard Woodfield tonight. Do we have? I think we've got some highlights from this one.
We got to go to Arlington first. Yes.
All right. We will get to that
one. We'll get back to that one in a second.
Start with a game in Viborg, I believe. Viborg-Hurley.
First time we've ever done a highlight from
right?
Viborg-Hurley. They've got a team this year, folks. I think they're going to be one of the contenders in 9AA, and a lot of people thought Arlington Lake Preston would too, but they haven't started out the season on the right foot, Tom.
Arlington Lake Preston 0-1. They lost to Parker in their opener, but Viborg-Hurley opening the season against this Arlington Lake Preston team that was 9-1 last year. This was all Viborg-Hurley.
There are 2 studs, Chase Mason and Shane Anderson, and that's how they got it started with their first touchdown of the day. And then you see Carter Gust for a touchdown run, and they keep pouring it on. Angel Johnson finds a way. There's so many great athletes on this team. For a 9-man school, it is so hard to stop every facet of their game. And you see Angel Johnson with another touchdown run, and they are pouring it on here. They're getting close to mercy rule here, Tom. An interception, though, by Arlington Lake Preston. Tate Larson picks one off, but couldn't do anything with that drive. And then you see Chase Mason. This guy is up and down the field, and I'll tell you what, they 50-burgered them. A really good team. So we'll hear later in zone coverage from their coach, Rob Kessler.
That is an awesome Badgers logo, and Viborg-Hurley has really cool uniforms. But Chase Mason, Angel Johnson, Carter Gust, all those guys.
Shane Anderson,
touchdowns
get to know him.
For Viborg-Hurley tonight as they roll 50-0 in this one. I think we will hear a little bit from Rob Kessler, the Viborg-Hurley coach, coming up in our zone coverage. All right, in T tonight, it was Canton and T area. And on the first drive, Isaac Dietzenbach with a touchdown for Canton. Gets them out to a 7-0 lead, but T comes back. Austin Lake is their quarterback this year.
Get to know some new names here.
Goes to Joe Walnoffer, who was there last year. It's 7-7 at halftime. Third quarter here, Caden Verley.
He's playing quarterback, by the way, folks. He does every position on the field.
Kicks extra points, does everything. It's 14-7 Canton after the Verley touchdown. Ensuing kickoff alert, though. There's only one reason to show it, and it's Braden Thompson going all the way for T.
How about that move?
To make it 14-14 at the end of the third quarter. But here is some controversy, Jandy.
Well, we've got a little controversy. We've got
punt.
How often do we show punts on the show, let alone kickoffs?
It's a punt coming up here. T will muff it.
He barely touches it. It goes in the end zone.
Thinks they have a touchdown, but it's not.
Everybody thinks they have a touchdown right now, but they look at the rule book. They get together. Great job by the officials. Official call. Fans waiting. Yes, it's a touchback. He never had possession, and if it goes in the end zone, that's a touchback, which sets up T on their final drive of the game, and then look at that.
Austin Lake takes him down the field. Walnoffer makes an incredible catch there for about 30 yards. Caden Johnson had a catch. Joey Hedrick had a catch, and then here's Hedrick for the winning touchdown with 18 seconds left. So after the controversy, T goes right down the field. They score in under 20 seconds to go in the ball game, and they pull it out 21-14.
The Titans ran for 59 yards total and pulled off the W. So great game there. That's two teams I think that will have something to say about the 11A championship.
All right, great game there. Where are we going to go next? Dakota Valley and Madison played a great game tonight. Let's see. Brandon Valley and Roosevelt played a great game. Harrisburg and Rapid City Central played a great game tonight. Let's talk a little bit more about this T area game.
I'll tell you what, T, they lost so many players from last year. I think a lot of people put them number one just because they won the title last year. But they have the biggest senior class they've ever had at T area. Craig Clayberg has built an actual program now. It's not just a year to year. If we get a good athletes, we're going to win. I think every year you can count on T area as being a tough team.
All right, Jandy. We got Castlewood at Del Rapids St. Mary tonight. Take us away on this one.
All right, St. Mary's 4th and 6, and Castlewood stops them. Look at this. So they're going to take over the ball inside the 10. They're in business. Caden Ing, one of the top players in the class, touchdown pass, and Castlewood's up 7-0, and Castlewood needed this after last week. Got off to a loss. Del St. Mary's been getting votes, not only in the top 5, but some number 1 votes. There's Connor Livis with a touchdown run, followed by the 2-point conversion. That put them up 8-7. Eli Longville with the diving touchdown, and they're up 16-7, hitting those 2-point conversions left and right. Then Connor Livis once again finds the end zone. This guy is not tall, but he can hide behind the line and make some plays. And Eli Longville now, excuse me, that's not Longville, that's Weston Garrett's coming up with a great jumping touchdown, 24-7. So after the 7-0 start, the Cardinals are rocking. We move into the third quarter now. Eli Longville finds a gap, turns on the gas, and gets in for the 30-7 lead in this one. Now in the fourth quarter, Ryder Johnson catches a long touchdown, and he'll run it in for the score, 13-30, trying to make their way back in, but too little too late. And Del St. Mary pours it on from there. Longville with another touchdown. Garrett Kirkfleet got in. Garrett Kirkfleet to Caden Ing right here for Castlewood.
Ing's got some moves, man.
That guy,
Castlewood's got
he's
a couple
going to
of
Northern
guys
State to play football.
that really have some moves here. And Castlewood, another tough luck loss tonight. So they're 0-2. They got beat by Howard last week, and then Del Rapids tonight. So Castlewood, we'll see how they do. They were 7-3 last year. They did move up a class this year, but Del Rapids scored 60 points last week, 44 more this week, and they are off to a 2-0 start.
All the players on offense back for this team, and we actually got to talk to the Cardinals. Let's hear what they had to say after the game.
Well, our line was really blowing off the ball, and they were playing a little dirty, but we kept our cool and kept going at them, and the counter was working because they were falling fullback, so we just took advantage of it. I'm most excited about the group of guys that we have. We all want the same goal, and that is the long run in the playoffs, get that number 1 spot. And, I mean, in the end, we all want a championship, so that team goal is what really drives us.
Right.
Garrett's, Longville, Libis, these guys have been playing for a couple years. They've been playing since they were super young. Now they're juniors and moving up. Team to watch. Definitely a team to watch.
All right, going to be a fun year for Del Rapids. St. Mary's, they get to 2-0 tonight. Let's go back to 11A, Jason, and Madison hosting Dakota Valley. This was a fabulous football game. Both made the playoffs last year. Both lost to Del Rapids. They're both coming back with what they think are pretty good teams. Zion Robinson with a touchdown.
They've got about 3 running backs on this Dakota Valley team. Zion Robinson, one of those guys, getting it done. But watch out, Trey Smith with the catch from Tyler Tappy. Actually, Trey Smith bolting in from 3.
Dora with the catch there, but then Trey Smith, that's him right there. Just a sophomore. That's his first touchdown that I made it 7-7. Madison missed a field goal. Dakota Valley went 4 and out, though, and then Trey Smith again. So it's 14-7 Madison in the lead. Dakota Valley comes right back at him. Kobe June, 66 yards on that burst.
Yeah, PAT was no good, so they'd pull close, but they'd be just within 1 point at that time.
All right, Dakota Valley does take the lead, though, right before halftime. This is Robinson again.
They like that direct snap. They've got the misdirection. They've been running this offense for a few years now, and they are so much more adept at it. And when you have 3 guys like Robinson and all these guys that can run, it makes it dangerous.
Big dude, 6'3", 190 pounds, Robinson. Dakota Valley in the lead at halftime, but Madison comes back. Trey Smith, his 3rd touchdown of the night. Dogs in the lead, 21-19. Madison again in the 4th quarter here. Smith breaks loose.
We think of this Madison team as air attack, and they did air it out. But Trey Smith is a huge weapon when you can run the ball like that.
They ran the ensuing kickoff back. Dakota Valley, Zion Robinson took it back 85 yards to make it 28-26. Dakota Valley actually had a long field goal attempt late to win this game, but it was no good, and Madison hangs on 28-26, Jace.
Good win for them. They've got a chance to get some more first-place votes after beating the number 2 team and the number 1 team having to go to the last few seconds to win. 11A will be an interesting poll to watch on Monday. Now this is the game of the night.
At Howard Wood Field in Sioux Falls, Roosevelt and Brandon Valley. Brandon Valley, the defending state champions. Brady Dannenbring is healthy. He's a very good quarterback. Goes to Michael Paulson there, tiptoeing down the sidelines.
This is the second quarter. Scoreless first quarter. Kind of jitters on both sides. But then they find their sophomore running back, Tyree Navy. Played a little bit as a freshman last year. Huge component for this Riders team.
All right, 7-0 Roosevelt. Brandon Valley comes right back, though.
And this was very next possession. You know they can get it, and there was some, I think, crossed up coverage. Ty McCann wide open. He's been catching balls for a few years and goes over the shoulder to grab that one and finishes it off with the run after the catch. And Brandon Valley right back in at 7-7 at halftime. Not much scoring in the first half. I thought there'd be a little more. Good defense, though.
Great throw by Thomas Skolton, by the way. 7-7 at halftime. This is Aaron Kusler.
Yes.
One of the Kusler twins for Roosevelt.
And then while I was shooting him on the sideline after the sack, I couldn't even get my camera ready. And Tyler Feldkamp scored a 42-yard touchdown. So you see it on the replay on the board. That's the best I can do, guys.
All right, Dannenbring goes to Feldkamp.
But I show a little celebration.
Riders in the lead.
That's a momentum swinger, though, in this game, because that was the first big play. You finally saw the bench of Roosevelt relax a little bit, and things started to get loose, and this team started to rock. And there's Brady Dannenbring finding Presley Johnson, another junior wide receiver, second junior wide receiver in a row to catch a touchdown. He had a couple big plays in the game, and really, it was all Roosevelt in the second half.
21-7 Riders in the lead, and then
I missed another touchdown, so I had to borrow this play from Brian Henchen.
If you would score again.
And Tyree Nave scampers in, but I want to make sure we showed that. I missed 2 plays tonight. I am in preseason form, Tom.
Well done, Jandy.
Yeah.
Brandon Valley did tack another one on late. It ends up a 28-13 game, but Roosevelt is solid at quarterback, running back, receiver, defensively with the Kuslers, screaming around like that. Pretty impressive tonight.
Yeah, and I talked to Brady Dannenbring after the game about, not only the offense, but how well this defense played.
They were crazy good. They weren't getting any yards on us tonight, especially in the ground game. They're a really hard defense to get yards against in general, and that helps us out in the field position battle. I think we just got back to what we know and stuff, and then we also worked on the stuff that we saw on the field. We went back and looked at the iPads and stuff and saw that the certain coverages they were in on certain plays, and then we worked on that, and our O-line really kicked into gear in second half, and they kicked their butts in the second half. I like seeing that.
Couple quick notes on this game. Jackson Hilton had a pre-game kind of tweaked knee. He wasn't 100%, didn't play any offense at all.
Wide receiver.
Yep, he played defense, didn't play offense at all. Affected Brandon a little bit, but Roosevelt played a dynamic game from all aspects. After they started to loosen up, they really took over in the second half.
Good program, man. One other game we didn't get to yet, but we'll have it online. Harrisburg out at Rapid City Central was a great game. Harrisburg won that one 26-20. A couple other streaming highlights tonight, Jamie. This is St. Thomas More and Winter in 11B, and Winter rolled them 46-20.
Rivalry renewed. They're both in the same class now in 11B, but Winter came out and just went gung-ho on the run, which we know they can do. Trevor Peters had a huge night running the ball for them. They got up to a 38-0 lead at halftime, cruised in 46-20 for the victory. You see it there, Trevor Peters, Philip Jorgensen, Brady Fritz, they can all run the ball. And Ryder Kurz threw 2 big interceptions. In another big game, West River tonight was Wall taking on Sully Buttes. Sully Buttes moves to 9A, Wall moves to 9A, and both promising teams in this class. But I'll tell you what, Sully Buttes came out, and Nick Whitler is having a statistical anomaly year. This guy is putting up touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. He had a great day running the offense for Sully Buttes, and Jet Lamb, who I have projected as the best player in 9-man football, had a huge day with a blocked punt. He had a safety on his own. He just had a huge day, and they really shut down the Wall offense, which did a lot last week against Harding County, but virtually shut them down tonight, 64-12.
Nice field, by the way, on Wall.
Very nice field.
Sully Buttes, Whitler ran for 3 touchdowns, threw for 4 more, so he had 7 on the night. And you see Lamb, who you talked about there, Sully Buttes 64-12 in the Mercy Rule game in the win over Wall tonight. And again, as we mentioned, Harrisburg beat Rapid City Central 26-20 in a really good game out in Rapid City tonight.
Yeah, I think we might have highlights of that next segment if we have time.
Okay, and O'Gorman and Stevens just there. I don't know if they're still in a weather delay. They were in a weather delay as we got going here out in Rapid City. When we come back, a little bit more sound from around the Dakotas in our zone coverage. Coaches talking about how their teams did tonight.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. A couple more highlights coming if we can get them rolling in here. But it's time for zone coverage. Throw it around to some of the head coaches from tonight's games, get a little reaction. Start in North Dakota with Fargo Davies came out on the wrong end of a 38-15 loss tonight against Bismarck Century. But let's hear from Jason Thilgis, I believe.
I think it's Wingenbach.
Is it? Or do we have Ron Wingenbach from Bismarck Century?
We'll find out. We'll
see who we got here.
Well, I think, if you look back on the film, they were throwing a lot of 8-man fronts at us. And when we see that, we know we got to be able to throw the ball. And I think, the first drive of the third quarter was kind of indicative of what we want to be able to do. We got to start spreading people a little bit more and being able to run the ball in those various formations. We really like our opponents this year, Fargo Davies, West Fargo next week. 2 excellent teams to really kind of set the tone as we head into our opener against Legacy.
That's a big game against Legacy coming up, but a great performance on the road by Century. Cade Feeney did an outstanding job, tons of receivers, huge line, so great effort by them. And another big game, Shanley on the road gets the win, and their coach was excited too.
They beat Bismarck St. Mary's tonight 23-21, and here I believe is Troy Mattern from Fargo Sheyenne.
I believe you're right.
It is a huge win. You just always want to win every football game, and it is a non-conference game, and we got an opportunity to play a lot of kids. But this is a special game. St. Mary's Shanley. We've been battling for many, many years, and a lot of high stakes. But I think with the atmosphere the way it was and the unveiling of their new field, it was just fun to be a part of a special night, and I'm glad we were able to do that.
It is one of the great rivalries. It's going to be weird with Shanley not being in the same class.
That's going to be strange, but a great win on the road for them. So a couple of big road wins in North Dakota. In South Dakota, we talked to Ross Flemmer and the up-and-coming Del Rapids St. Mary Cardinals. Let's see what he had to say.
Ran the ball pretty well, and for the first half we played pretty good defense, and we got a lead, and luckily we had a lead, I guess. We got a great group of kids, and they're playing hard. That's the funnest thing. We just need to keep working hard like we are, and the biggest thing is we need to improve and clean up the things that we didn't do very well tonight.
All right. They're 2-0. They've scored 104 points in their first 2 games.
They did make a few mistakes we saw in the highlights, but they've got to be proud of the way they bounced back after getting down early, and the Cardinals are looking good.
All right, Dale St. Mary's. Madison won tonight. It was a really close, really good game against Dakota Valley. Madison with 4 touchdowns from Trey Smith to win that game 28-26.
I think Max Hodgen is excited. He always excited.
Yeah, well, what a start, and you could see the first game mistakes, but we overcame, and I'm proud of our players. That's a heck of a ball club in Dakota Valley, and we're tickled pink to come out of here with a win. Yeah, real relaxed. He made some really good throws and some things that, obviously you could tell it was the first game, and, we rushed it, but I thought we made some adjustments. Defensively, we replaced 8 players on defense, so you could tell that first drive they just came out, smacked us in the mouth before we could figure out what was going on, and then, focusing on our run game a little bit more, and I think he's going to be special.
I should just have a show with Max Hodgen. I could just sit and listen to him all day. But he's right. They got smacked around early, came back, and showed why I think they're the top team in 11A.
And Dakota Valley's really good.
They were going to be really good, too.
28-26, Madison over Dakota Valley tonight. And let's finish it up with Sioux Falls Roosevelt as they beat Brandon Valley tonight by a final of 28-13.
And Kim Nelson picks out a few players that he thinks did outstanding, and they're all on the defensive side.
We stopped the run. I mean, that's what you got to do against anybody, but especially Brandon Valley. I mean, they've been really good at pounding the ball, and every time I looked up, 8, 9, and 10, Kuchler, Dannenbrink were getting off the pile. I mean, those 3 guys are really outstanding run players and outstanding defensive players. And I thought Joey Hughes had an exceptional game, and Tucker Large at corner. They took some shots down the field. They'd only completed maybe 1 or 2, we just forced them to be one-dimensional. Unfortunately, Skolton's good enough to move the ball by throwing it too. But I think we took them out of their game a little bit because we controlled the line of scrimmage and we stopped the run. And if we can do that consistently, we'll be in the ball game.
Every position, every level, Jandy, they're solid.
They are very solid. And he mentioned Brandon Dannenbrink when he talked about number 10. His first game as a starter on defense, and he had over 10 tackles. And Brady, after I talked to him after the game, said, hey, what about my brother? He had a huge game, didn't he? Yeah, you had a huge game, Brandon. Keep on balling.
All right, Roosevelt beats Brandon Valley tonight 28-13. Let's get to Rapid City Central at home tonight to finish up the highlights. Taking on Harrisburg. Harrisburg again moves up from 11AA to 11-3A.
There's the flash.
Jeremy Weedman taking it down the sideline there for Central. He went out of the ball game with a leg injury at one point, did come back in, but Aaron Iverson gets its scoring started for Rapid City Central.
I like the talent in this team. Iverson, Jungclaus, Weedman, Meisman, all these guys are really good athletes.
Harrisburg's got some talent though. Jack Tigan to Jai Rowert.
Fastest guy in the state right there, Jai Rowert.
And then Anders Clayton with a touchdown. Tigan to Sam Christensen as well to make it 20-8. Harrisburg gets out to the lead.
How about that Jack Tigan throwing some dimes in the passing game? This Harrisburg team is going to be really good down the field this year.
There's Speedy again. That's Rowert. Takes that in from long range. That was on a 3rd and 20, by the way. And Harrisburg got out to a 26-8 lead, but Rapid City Central got an interception, and then Evan O'Rasby with a touchdown.
How about that? They don't give up. They came back. This Central team is going to be a tough team to take out for an entire game.
It was 26-14 at halftime, and then Cole Meisman to Wyatt Jungclaus. Great big wide receiver takes that down the field, and they would get a touchdown out of it to make it 26-20.
Oh, look at the effort. He used to be a touchdown-only guy last year. Yeah. This year, I think he's going to be much more of a possession receiver and get the touchdowns, too.
Yeah, Central comes all the way back there. Lincoln Botel had a big interception late in the 4th quarter for Harrisburg. Tigers hang on and win it 26-20.
It's a big win for Harrisburg. First time in AAA. Get that road victory. Central's going to be a team to watch, so we're going to have them on next week on the Rushmore Bowl.
And again, O'Gorman and Stevens trying to get that game in still late out in Rapid
They're
City.
up 14-0, O'Gorman is.
O'Gorman 14-0. When we come back, the rundown, one big, huge, game-changing play from all of our games tonight. Right to the rundown tonight. Roosevelt over Brandon Valley this evening, 28-13.
2 touchdown passes for Brady Dannenbrink. There's a dime right there to Presley Johnson.
Harrisburg goes out to Rapid City and holds on to win at 26-20.
Yeah, comeback by Rapid City Central, but not enough. And Harrisburg gets the first win of the year.
T-Area drives, scores with 18 seconds left to win that one. And Madison holds on to beat Dakota Valley behind 4 touchdown runs from that man.
11A is going to be crazy this year. That's just a little preview.
Trey Smith, 4 scores there. Viborg Hurley rolls up a 50-0 win tonight. It was Del Rapids. St. Mary's getting to 2-0 on the season.
There's that man again, Connor Libis, finding a way to get to the end zone.
Winner rolls over St. Thomas More 46-20.
Yeah, 38-0 lead at halftime. Trevor Peters and company is for real.
It was Sully Butts and Nick Whitler over Wall 64-12.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought they might have a little tougher time with Wall. I figured they'd win, but wow.
Big win in North Dakota. West Fargo Cheyenne takes down Bismarck.
Huge road win to start. Huge win for the EDC.
101-yard interception return there for a score. Bismarck Century, the number 1 team of the preseason, beats Fargo Davies 38-15.
A comfortable win all game. Plenty of receivers. Cade Feeney finding them all.
West Fargo at home falls to Mandan 12-8.
Dane Carlson gets it in, and not many scores, but enough to get the win.
Enoch and Flomo hook up twice. Fargo South beats Dickinson 29-0. Fargo Shanley moves up a class, hangs on to beat Bismarck St. Mary's tonight.
Yeah, close game. St. Mary's came back, but Shanley holds on for the 2-point victory.
Also a contender in 2A, Hillsboro-Central Valley 47-0 over Grafton tonight.
And never a game tonight. Burrows rocking it.
Thompson moves up from 9-man to 11-man this year. They start out with a 34-0 win.
Still my favorite move of the night. That was pretty sweet.
Double shift to the left for the score. It was a Langdon Edmore Munich 40-8 over Hatton Northwood.
Simon Rompo, watch out guys, when you have a player like that, you do well in Class A.
Lamore Litchfield Marion 38-0 over the Colts this evening.
Huge win over a ranked team.
North Dakota. College football on Saturday here on Midco Sports Network. 2 o'clock Montana at South Dakota. 4 o'clock Drake at North Dakota. See you next week.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Keep watching. Good job, Tom.